Welcome to the Dog Trainers Podcast,
a podcast created by dog trainers for dog trainers or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend.
Hey everybody, welcome back and thank you so much for listening to the Dog Trainers Podcast. Mariano Alvarez here with Brent Labrada and a special guest, a returning guest that we'll talk about in just a second. But first, two quick things, you guys. As usual, we've got to start by showing love and appreciation to our loyal listeners who have been by our side since day one. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We just want to say that every time because you are so awesome. You're part of the reason why DTP is such a special movement. Now, second, I want to let you guys know about a very, very unique and special event that's going to be coming up. It's starting in just a few weeks. The Canine Conference. That's a 100% virtual conference put together by none other than Jonas Black. It's a 6-day long conference total, held over 3 weekends, the first 3 weekends in October, Saturday and Sunday, the 4th and 5th, the 11th and 12th, the 18th and 19th. You can find information in the description of this episode on the conference and purchase tickets and all that good stuff, as well as by visiting at the Canine Conference, all one word, on Instagram. I just wanted to mention that, and with that, over to you, Brent.
Cool. Yeah, guys, exciting news. We have an old friend joining us, Jonas Black from season 1. If you guys know who this guy is. If you guys don't know who this is, as we mentioned, he started an online virtual seminar series, and it's one of the first of its kind, and it is a star-studded event that both of us will be speaking at, and we're super excited to have him back. We haven't sat down and grabbed a beer with him in several years since COVID, right? Funny enough, I got locked down in Colorado for COVID with Jonas Black. He was flying into Colorado while I was about to fly out. I got diagnosed with COVID, and he was just like, well, if you want, man, I got a 2-story Airbnb. If you want to chill with me, you can hang out with me. And I was like, how fucking nice is that Jonas is like, you can hang with me. And even though I was sick as a dog, we had a hell of a good time. So welcome back, Jonas. How you been, man?
Well, first off, thanks for having me back, guys. And second off, I've been amazing. Life's been super, super good with the two biggest things happening, giving my life to Jesus Christ and also becoming a dad. So it's been really, really good over the last few years in particular. I adopted a girl and she's just absolutely amazing. And definitely have over the last 4 years have come quite a away from the punk ass dog trainer moniker and went towards a more professional and skill set approach, which I'm really, really proud of. I think, in 2021, I was the world's most talked about dog trainer. And one of the things that I learned from that in particular was don't let shit get to your head and humble yourself. And basically not everybody cares about what you have to say all the time. And it's been one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. And yeah, with the Canine Conference and, the whole inception of that came from being able to use my platform and being able to get trainers who normally wouldn't be able to afford access to all these trainers at the same time, an accessible way to access all the trainers. And that way they can see who they do want to learn from or who they wouldn't want to learn from based on a quick, taste of them.
Genius. That's genius, man. It's really crazy because, we work with, a lot of dog trainers and we've talked to a lot of dog trainers, and it's very rare that an individual takes an idea, like everyone and their mom has ideas, but to have an idea and then to put in the work to be in a position to actually execute said idea. Tell me about that process a little bit.
Well, first off, I'm very blessed to have the platform that I do, right? I mean, we run close to 2 million. And the way that this came about was, for those of you guys who don't know, I spent a long time in the music industry trying to make it as a rock star, and failed pretty violently. But what I saw was I see the music industry consistently putting out these huge festivals, right? Huge festivals, Coachella, Warped Tour, all this stuff. And what you have is you've got these huge platforms, these huge bands, and then underneath you've got the openers, right? And the openers get discovered at these festivals, right? And so I was in dog training, and this is I'm always going to give hot takes. I think that we're such a dorky industry when we could be so much cooler, like way, way cooler. And for me, it was about bringing like the festival vibe into the dog training world. And we accomplished that last year. It was so much fun. And bringing that festival vibe into it by bringing the big platforms who are going to draw people in, and then being able to also have those big platforms collaborate with smaller platforms on social media in order to get them some exposure. What it does is it creates the synergistic effect of just like, we're all in this together. And like, I mean, this year I'm so proud of it because we have two prominent force-free platforms on top of it, like at the Canine Conference, because it is such a safe space and there's so much value in every one. We have, it's probably going to be the coup de grace of my career. I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm really excited about the work that I've done with like neuroscience and my mentorship program. But I think from industry perspective and industry impact, I'm really proud to have ditched the bullshit ego and use my platform to help the industry.
That's amazing, man. And I think as dog training, I know for me, it has helped me directly and indirectly, right? Like some of the principles we learn in behavior mod and some of the principles we learn in, behavior manipulation and all this stuff. It's like, as we grow in our careers, it's like we run into things like, fuck, I got to work on this.
we
suck
run
at this
into things like, fuck, I don't know shit.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know shit. Fuck, I'm not as good of a leader as I thought I was, or I'm not as good of a speaker as I thought I was, or I'm not as good of a businessman as I thought I was. And it's like, it's really cool because, when we run into those things, we can always relate something back to some type of protocol or some type of pattern we see in behavior development or behavior manipulation. And it's like, I guess, tell me a little bit about, like, in the last 5 years since we've seen you, if you don't mind, could you tell us a little bit about kind of that growth journey? Like, what were some things, and did dog training help you in those things?
Yeah, man. I think, because I was such a critic on others, I think I opened the door for a critique to hit me. That's a two-way street. So whenever I feel like I diminished my skill set because like I was always like educate through entertainment, right? But like the entertainment aspect that I would deploy was one of an immature practice. And it was purposefully designed that way, right? Because I knew what was getting views, but I really sold myself out. I sold my character out because everybody would always say things like, man, if you meet Jonas in person, he's completely different than online. And then I was like, man, so I'm being disingenuous, right? Like, so I'm sure that those words have come out of your guys' mouths, like, legit, like, like, hey, I know he seems like a dick online, but dude, like, he's actually really nice in person. And what happens is that you start to fall under the guise and under this mask where you feel misunderstood, even though it is an actual persona that you put out there, or that I put out there. And I was like, dude, why the hell do people not understand that I'm trying to help? Well, when you're a dick to other people, they're gonna be a dick to you, and that's just the way it goes, right? So the biggest factor, of course, honestly, has been giving my life to the Lord. And that's been, like when you humble yourself and you truly understand that, hey man, like, you're nothing special. And one of the things that I started to really look at was that, am I getting my dopamine hits off of social media views? And the answer was yes. And so I started to wean myself off of making content that would hit hard, right? Like, I don't need to critique other trainers all the time. I don't need to do that. Like, that, it doesn't mean that I'm better. It doesn't mean that they're worse. It doesn't mean that I'm worse. We're all on this stupid journey and trying our best and doing the best that we can. We've all overcorrected a dog. We've all had a bad timing with a clicker. We've all done these things. We've all messed up at the end of the day. And I think my farts don't smell approach in dog training is so played out, and it doesn't allow for true learning to take place. And so over the last few years, what I've seen is that all these different camps started to pop up, right? Like, you have like camp play, camp e-collar, camp this, camp that, like all these things. And we can all come together and have a really great time, because I don't think that there is a golden ticket. one of the things that I've really come to learn, especially with all the travel that I got to do, is that context is so important. I don't train in the same environments all the time. The way that I would train a dog in Manhattan that's leash reactive is not going to be the same way that I train a dog in rural Texas that's reactive, right? Because we can keep a dog under threshold a little bit easier than in broader spaces. So once I realized that my shit smells, and that I'm not infallible, and that I'm also, and that I'm not also able to be critiqued, but should be critiqued. Um, Things started to open up for me, man, and becoming a leader in my mentorship program. That was also one of those things, because I stepped away from the punk ass dog trainer platform completely. Like, that's not me anymore. I actually refuted it. I said, no, no, no more of this. I changed everything to Jonas Black official. And the reason for that was, dude, like, if I'm someone's mentor, like, who's your mentor? Oh, punk ass dog trainer. Like, that's so stupid, right? Like, it's so dumb. And ditching that and just moving into a more educational and platform, and doing my best, because I know that the work I do is good. So, like, I really put a cap to how much people would listen, in particular the industry. And I always said that I don't market to the industry, and I still don't. But this way I'm just me, which may be more or less palatable depending on what you want. But I stepped away from the entertainment aspect and more so into the educational aspect, and in particular got into more of an animal advocacy standpoint. Also, the stuff that we've done with wolves now, my wolf advocation, raising $250,000 for wolves. We actually got a wolf torturer indicted. I'm really proud of it. I work with Wyoming state legislators and senators now. I'm part of writing legislation in the state of Wyoming to protect wild canids. And like, the career is just, I think it's taken a turn. And James Penrith was really proud of me, because he always told me, he goes, mate, why the fuck do you act like that online? Like, this is what's and
Like a big brother kind of.
yeah, and just kind of like stepping into into being a dad too, man. Like, shoot, like, you think I want cancel culture coming after me? You know what I mean? Like with my daughter, like, once it's online, it's there forever. And like with my kiddo, like, I can't afford to open the door of like animosity coming towards me and mine, because if somebody hurts her, I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah.
And that's like,
and then you go to jail, and then she doesn't have a dad.
And then she doesn't have a dad, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, but I think overall the biggest factor in I guess what you could call growth, I just look at it as walking my journey. I don't know if it's growth or whatever it is, but it's just a matter of finding peace. Was really just looking at the situation and going, dude, you're acting kind of like a dickhead, and like, you should settle down a little bit. That doesn't mean that I can't give it to you straight. That doesn't mean that I'm not a straight shooter anymore. I'm probably more of a straight shooter now than I was before. But at the end of the day, the entertainment aspect of things, like, it consumed me. I became aware of it, and I decided to ditch it.
Amazing. Yeah, I remember when we were stuck in Colorado together for that week. I remember you were sharing some stuff with me about like the punk ass dog trainer brand, and you mentioned something that I'll never forget, where you said, like, you're like, I'm embracing like the macho man Randy Savage. And I just remember thinking that, and I just remember being like, that makes so much sense.
Oh yeah.
And this idea of like this alter ego and this, and like you have a character you play online, and then there's who Jonas Black really is, but sometimes they get confused that they're separate people,
Correct. And when you start to buy into your own hype, which is what I did, right? I started buying into my own hype. Like, you start to like lose who you actually are. And when you buy into your own hype, you also buy into the terrible lies that are being said about you also. So like those two things in particular, and like I'll speak very candidly on this. I have a domestic violence charge from now 13 years ago that got dug up and brought against me. However, it was spoken completely out of context, because it was never shown that it was dismissed due to lack of evidence. And I have owned that, and I've always spoken openly about it. So it was nothing that needed to be said. But the amount of rage and the amount of like, I guess you could say tidal wave that hit my family, because it got to the point where my mother was being threatened because it went from DV to she's running a sex trafficking ring. And yeah, it was, and then and then all of a sudden I killed someone over a shed in Australia, over a shed. Like it was like, because there's a guy named Jonas Black in Australia that killed somebody over a shed. Like the question is, what did this Jonas Black have in this fucking shed, right? Like I want to know what was in the shed. But it got to a point to where it was like, all right, cool. The things that people didn't understand and the things that were never conveyed. I didn't even want to get into this today, but who cares? Typical Jonas move still, right? Like who fucking gives a shit? It's what was never conveyed was that charges were never pressed. The state picked it up, and I was charged with third-degree felony strangulation. Trigger warning for anybody out there. There was no evidence of that. I actually form tackled somebody because they were going to take their life, and I impaired their breathing. That's what happened. And in Texas, you have to, as soon as breathing gets impaired, and I admitted to it, they were like, dude, we have to take you. And so Texas picked it up. The restraining order was a 100% Texas protocol. That's just the way it goes. And at the end of the day, I definitely took credit, and well, not credit, but I definitely took ownership and accountability, because this happened in like 2013 or 14. Like it was a long time ago. And I've had no repeated offenses since then. Like I'm not a repeat offender on this. And on top of it, I owned it because I was part of a toxic relationship. And there was a moment where physicality took place. And I owned that. And while I didn't do what I was accused of doing, there was still a moment of physicality that happened. And regardless of what the intention was, whether it was to save someone's life or not, or like in the heat of the moment, whatever, just for anybody out there, bro, we've all been the abuser. We've all been the abused. That's just the way it goes. But afterwards, I took 900 therapy hours to make sure that I didn't put myself or other people into that position again. I owned my shit. And just from speaking from a very candid place and a very candid perspective, we want men to heal. Make sure that you know all the context in particular with this, and understand that domestic violence, in particular my situation, is kind of an outlier event, because most victims of domestic violence are not lying, and we should always believe them, but there's always context where we should look into it also. And the reason why I didn't speak out about it was because I didn't want to invalidate anybody else's story, potentially, if that makes sense. But now, after going through therapy for that, because I have been going to therapy for the last 4 years after this cancel attempt hit me, because it really damaged me. Like I started drinking heavily, which I'm not doing anymore, like because all the stuff that I was being accused of doing, I really didn't do. And like it was really hard. It destroyed my career. It destroyed all those things like that was happening at that moment. Like the people who were coming out saying things, like it just escalated into this crazy thing. And what ended up happening is I tried to take my life. And after that, I was like, I'm going to go to therapy and stop feeling sorry for myself. And because then I took accountability for having opened the door for all this to happen because of what I was doing. And I realized that, oh man, like it wasn't just their fault, it was my fault also. And taking accountability on that and being able to take that extreme ownership of that event has allowed me to heal, because I understand that I was a part of it and that I wasn't just a victim of circumstance. I was actually a creator of the circumstance, and probably the originator of that circumstance due to how I was acting. And so I'm just glad to be where I am now.
Amen.
Isn't it crazy? Like in a more humorous thing. So like I grew up Mormon. I don't know if you guys knew this. And then, we spend most of our 20s like not trying to deny or ignore like a higher power, right? We think like we're super powerful. We think we can handle it all by ourselves. We think like we got this. And then there comes always a trial where you get punched in the gut and kicked in the balls. And it's like, like
it's exactly that. Yeah. Like, it's, right.
What do I go from here? And God's come back into my life over the last couple of years as well. And the same thing with Mariano, same thing with you guys. And it's like a really interesting thing to the more, status we get, money we get, responsibility we get, like the pressure builds, right? The pressure builds. And one of the best things to learn is that it's not all up to you, right? And one of my favorite sayings is, I'm going to work like it's up to me, but I'm going to pray like it's up to you, and it's like this balance. It's this balance of like humility, and I'm going to do the best that I can every single day. But I still know that I'm not in charge of this shit. Right. And I think that's such a beautiful message.
I think I had one or two options there, and it was that I could either double down on what I was doing, right? Or I could learn from what was going on and utilize and make a positive impact. And that's always been what I've done. Like even when punk ass was alive and all that stuff, because I killed punk ass. But even when like that was all happening, I was still doing all kinds of work for free, like everything, like, and all the stuff that I still don't show. Basically, like I do a lot of volunteer work in underprivileged communities and things like that, and like Habitat for Humanity on Sundays and things of that nature. But like, I could have either gotten bitter or become more determined. And while I was almost eradicated, and one of the biggest fears that I ever had was losing my ability to train dogs and losing the trust factor to train dogs and helping the people. So one of the things that's really come from this whole thing was my love. It's so crazy how this happened. My love for people came back. Like it wasn't so much, wow, all of a sudden I'm losing dogs. I was like, like that'll never go away because I have a good business and this, that, and the other. But the trust that people had for me and have for me again, and that is something that I never want to lose. I actually went from hating people to getting like blasted on the internet, lied about, to loving people. It's like, it's almost like the harder you hit me, the more I will love you. And that's all inspired by Jesus. I mean, not sure if I love myself. I love Jesus. Like um I don't know if I'm capable of self-love, if that makes sense. Like and I think it's just the context and circumstances, variables of my life and experiences and things like that. But these days I'm okay with myself, and I think that maybe from my ratio and my perspective, I think that could equate to loving me, depending because of where I was before. Right. So it's everything's so different in ratio and perspective and experience and neurochemicals and all this stuff. And, coming kind of to where I am now, it was either shit or get off the pot. And I think it was one of the best things to ever happen to me. So everybody who spread rumors, I just want to say thank you. God bless you, and the Lord praise you. And I hold you up in my prayer, because if it weren't for you guys, I would have continued on this terrible, terrible trajectory that I was on. And now I'm helping trainers, I'm helping people again. And I was able to create such a wonderful platform like the Canine Conference, where I can use my platform to elevate others and bring people together. That's what's always been my goal. I went about it the party boy way. Hey, let's train dogs and go drink tequila, right? And there's still a little bit of that, like that's not gonna go away completely. It's me still at the end of the day, but like we want to make sure that that's in balance, And I mean, I just turned 40 years old yesterday, and I'm halfway done.
Happy birthday, man! I didn't know it was your birthday. Happy birthday!
I'm halfway done. I'm a dad, and these days it's all a matter of simplicity and just all the foundational elements. Like I look at life these days as like a beautiful dish that a chef prepares. You want to get all the simple elements perfect and as right as you can, and as wholesome as you can, and as fulfilling as you can. And yeah,
amazing, man. And kind of on this note of family, as we get older, also we start collecting people. if that makes sense, right? Like Mariano is about to have a baby and he's married. You have a child. I still don't have a child. I just have 28 employees, but they're kind of like my babies in a way, you know? And, I guess, yeah, yeah. And it adds to that, you know, need for leadership, and it adds to, you know, like I thought I was like, yeah, in my 20s, I thought I was a good leader. Bullshit. I have to become a way better leader now.
Thought I was a good leader yesterday, and today I'm like, oh man, I'm fucking terrible.
Not so much.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up family a little bit because yeah, I know that's something that's a huge pivotal changing point in your life, and you know, having a daughter. I also want to talk about. I know you lost some dogs recently, and I know that you know, I think everyone here, dogs changed our lives. So I don't know how you want to get into that, but
Bro, I'll just get into it right away. So the 2 dogs that I lost, they were on the same path. So I lost 2 dogs to cancer in 4 months. And if I get emotional, I hope everybody understands. I think I got emotional last time on the podcast also. I'm a very emotional human being.
Yeah.
Everything I do, my heart is in it, right? I'm there. But so I had a wolf dog, Wolfie. His original name was Diesel. My ex left him. I gave him a nickname to Wolfie because the name Diesel kind of like brought back old memories, which in turn changed Sparrow's name to Birdie. So at first we had Diesel and Sparrow, and now Wolfie and Birdie, and now we have Sparrow Birdie, right? So Sparrow / Birdie. And Turdy. And so in February or March, I was browsing the internet, and a friend of mine who's in rescue in Tennessee sent me and I get sent rescue dogs all the time, right? Please adopt this dog. You guys get it too. You guys know it's like one of the hardest things about being in this industry and having a heart. It's like, dude, please don't send me all these dogs because I feel, right? Like, you're like, shit. So with the wildfires happening in LA at that time, there was a shepherd mix named Wyatt at the Animal Wellness Foundation who had been surrendered, but with a lot of convincing from a homeless person who had been dragging him around by a rope on the back, by a bicycle. So, you know, and he was taught to guard when this person was in his like fentanyl zombie state. So he was like forward aggressive, and so once he got released to the Animal Wellness Foundation, the fracture, he had a broken leg that he was being dragged around on. So he had a broken leg for months, and like tough dog, man. Like one of the had taught me so much about dogs. And they had to amputate, and they found metastasized osteosarcoma in his lymph node, and nobody wanted him. So somebody sent me this, and I collect fucking broken beings, right? Like I was like, German Shepherd that bites, osteosarcoma in the lymph node, metastasized, no chance of living. Perfect. I was like, this is exactly what I need. Is like right? This is perfect for me. So pain, let's go. So I get in my truck.
Pain, let's go. Inevitable pain, let's go. Yeah.
I get in my truck, go to LA, pick him up in Santa Monica. And like he comes out, and he's just like immediately my dog, right? Like he just comes out, and he's all fucking like just awesome. And he ended up, I actually saved what he was breed wise for the end, because it's really incredible how this whole thing comes together. So he comes out, we're buds immediately, right? So I was like, oh man, look at this 3-legged fuck. He's awesome. Like, I love this guy. Everyone loves a tripod, right? Like at the end of the day, it's so easy to love a dog that's missing a leg. Like it's, in particular with his story, he's like living, like he's having the best time of his life, and his scans come back clear before I take him. I was like, cool, this is awesome. We saw no lung metastasis, but we're still aware that it's gotten into the lymph nodes, which means that it is traveling, right? It's going to travel. That's just the way it is. I thought he was a senior. Sure as shit, ends up he's 4 years old. So all of a sudden this changes the context completely, right? So instead of fostering him, I said I will, because they were gonna take care of the medical bills if I fostered him, like they do, but it wouldn't have covered chemo. So I adopted him because he's 4 years old now, right? So I was like, dude, this dude deserves to have a dad and a fighting chance. And so I took him, and you guys will laugh at this, dude. I deal with severe dogs. I deal with aggressive dogs. Like, that's what I'm known for in the dog training world, is dealing with that stuff, and phobic and aggressive dogs. My ass goes, you know what? It's fine. He doesn't need to be in a crate while I'm transporting him. Like, ooh, fucking fine. I'll put him in a hammock in the back of my truck. He's all twacked out on trazodone and gabapentin, like, because they had to do the final scans, and like, he's bitey. So I get him into the back of my truck, and we're in LA traffic heading back to Palm Springs, where dogs are dope. Like, one of my clients, that they own a training and daycare facility in Palm Springs. And I was like, cool, I'm going to go work with them for 2 or 3 days before I'm on the road with this guy for 20 hours back to Austin. He starts getting out of his fucking out of his stupor, and his head pops up from behind, and I just see him. And this is like a shepherd mal mix, right? And I'm like, this is how I die. I was like, this is
how I'm going to lose my face.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of LA traffic at 4:30, stuck in the center lane. I can't pull over, right? There's no way I'm getting over. I have a big Dodge Ram Laramie, right? Like a 1500, Hemi. There's lifted, I have a douchebag truck through and through. I love it. So it's this total douche truck. I can't get to the side of the road. This dog's going to kill me. All of a sudden, and this is, I can't make this shit up. You Brent, you live there. The guy in front of me slams on his brakes. I have to slam on my brakes. Wyatt comes
his head.
Wyatt comes tumbling over the hammock, and he's holding on to the center console, right? On my Sirius XM, I shit you not, the X Ambassador song Unsteady starts playing, right?
Hilarious.
Hold on to me, because I'm a little unsteady, and I'm like, I'm gonna lift this guy up. I have to. It doesn't matter if he bites me or not. I don't care, right? I was like, I don't care. I grab him, and he growls a little bit. And I said, stop it. and he stopped growling. I pulled him up. He crawls into my lap, goes to sleep. And so now I'm sitting there, fuck, don't move, right? Don't move, all the way to Palm Springs. We get out. He's totally cool, right? He's totally all right. He just never been in a truck before. And we start working. And this guy starts spinning into heel day one. He's just that guy, right? That guy. You're just holy shit. We're going to go barn hunting. We're going to do all these things. We bonded really hard immediately. And all of a sudden, my brain takes over. My stupid heart to brain connection that I have takes over, where it's this isn't hospice anymore. We're fighting, because I fell in love with him. And I was like, this isn't hospice anymore. Now we're fighting this shit. We're fighting it. I'm putting everything I've got into it. I don't care. Knowing that we're probably going to lose. I don't care. I have to give this guy the fighting chance. He's working with me beautifully. We have that connection. You guys know that connection when you just connect with a dog, and this was that dog for me. So all of a sudden we're back in Austin. Everything's cool. We're working. We go see an oncologist, and the oncologist is like, this dog is worth trying chemo with. And I was like, cool, let's do it. But if he has a bad response to chemo, I don't want to impact his life if these are his last few months, weeks, whatever. I want him to have a good time. He takes to the carboplatin very well. Very, very well. Ended up spending $17,500 out of my own pocket on chemotherapy. I never asked the rescue for a thing. I understood that this was my undertaking, right? This is me. I put up a list of things that people could get Wyatt, and we got bombarded with supplements, chews. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars worth of donated gifts, which helped so much. It was absolutely amazing. That's the benefit of having a platform like this, which is why I try to use it for now. And we beat it completely into remission. There's a video up where I'm just crying because he beat his shit into remission, and he's barn hunting, he's dock diving, he's doing all these incredible things, right? During this time, my soul dog, Wolfie, I come home one night. I come home one night after work, and he doesn't greet me. And my heart dropped because we had been together for 10 and a half years and there was never a day in our relationship where that dog didn't greet me. And I was like, I got to take him to the vet. Took him to the vet. Scans get done. His liver is just overrun with tumors and the bleeding had started. And hemangiosarcoma. All 3 heads of the liver were completely covered. Otherwise, we would have operated because they can live with 35% of their liver. We would have operated. We would have done everything that we can. I looked at the doctor and I said, here's my credit card, because he was the dog with me in Not Friendly, right? In the Not Friendly video, which we all know when it's the most viral sound in dog internet history.
Training internet, yeah. Or dog internet. No, not even dog training. Yeah.
Period. I gave the doctor my card and I said, there's $100,000 limit on this card. Max it up. Spend it. Give me another good 6 months with this guy. Spend it. I don't care. And she said, Mr. Black, there's not a cent in the world that is going to save your dog. And I said, is he going to die from this? And she said, we can keep him alive with blood transfusions for the next few days to get answers. But the bleeding has started. And so I looked at her and I said, is he going to die from this? She said, 110% he's going to die. Is he suffering? Yes. Okay. Done. No mas. Right? At that point, it's my obligation to step in the fire for my dog. Right? So, and I looked at her and I said, can I do it myself? Can I euthanize him? Right? Because to me, it's still someone killing my dog because I have autism. So like for me, it's like, it's very like literal. It's like, you're killing my dog humanely out of compassion. But it's not just like let's call it what it is. We're killing out of compassion. She said, I can't let you do that. And I said, well, then I think I'm going to have to take him home. And she was like, I can't let you do that. But what I also can't do is control what you do when I'm not in the room. And if you were to do something that I wouldn't want you to do, this one would be first and this one would be second. And there's a little port right there. So that is a lady. Yeah. So she walked out, syringes in the desk. I walk over and just like, I'm breathing, right? Because I'm about to kill my dog. That's like that's what it is. Put the sedative in, and then euthanized, and I euthanized him myself. And he went very peacefully. It was a very but in an hour, like he was okay, and then an hour later he was dead. And it was asymptomatic hemangiosarcoma. So like, it was like, there were no signs of it at all. Like, and you don't think to scan, and that type of cancer, I guess, you have to have like certain scans for it. It's not part of like the senior checkup. Like his blood work was great. They did blood work at the vet that day. And they were like, he has the blood work of like a 2-year-old dog. He's healthy. It's just his fucking cancer. Right. So what ended up happening now is Wolfie's gone. Right. So I'm destroyed. And I look over and then there's Wyatt. And he's all, what's up, Dad? like with this typical like herder shepherd like ways, right? Wolfie's crate is empty. And I'm not replacing him, but that space needs to get filled. So we put Wyatt in there. Wyatt becomes my healer. And we do all these amazing things, right? Like he's barn hunt natural, dock dive natural, swims. Like at first he swam like because he only had
in a circle. Oh, he swims in a circle
like a dumb little sperm that's never gonna hit like implant, right? So like, but he learned to straighten out, and like we started doing we started doing water obedience, where I would be like, Wyatt, heel, and he would swim and spin into heel. Like he figured out how to like there's a whole video of it, and like me and Robert Cabral, like we're onto something here, like water competitive sports, like that's kind of cool. And but yeah, so we ended up bonding, and one day I woke up and he wasn't patrolling his backyard, and I was like, fuck, man, like let's go to the vet ASAP. And he had a lump growing onto his skin. We had it I guess biopsied or like whatever, like That's late stage. Like bone cancer in the skin, it's in the blood. It's late stage, and his other rear leg was giving him trouble. Take him to the vet because we had scheduled to get the lump removed because we thought it was just like an oil gland or like whatever. Yeah, or like a fatty deposit, calcium deposit, whatever the fuck, man. I didn't think it was cancer because we had just achieved remission. But cancer doesn't wait, cancer doesn't fuck around. And when we went to go get the surgery, they took the chest, they took x-rays, and the oncologist called, and the oncologist was like, "We got some bad news, man." I was like, "What?" It's metastasized into his chest. And I was like, "What does that mean?" And he goes, "Well, we can try to stabilize it, get you guys as much quality type as possible." I was like, "Okay, cool." So we went on to losartan and Palladia, which has great, like it was great the first week, and then it started happening, and then it started becoming like he was very nauseous. So I pulled him because I was like, "Dude, your last few days are not going to be spent this." So all because of my platform, all of a sudden, like the top taco trucks in Austin made Wyatt's like food. Like it was really cool. Like his last dinner was made by a Michelin star chef, right? Like it's super cool. Like what ended up happening, but he lost use of his rear leg. So I wheelchair trained him. So he had a couple good walks. And problem with it is that he wasn't ready in the head, right? Like it was like he definitely had physical ailments, but he was uncomfortable. But he just if there's one thing that dogs do really well, it's fight, right? So I was like, "All right, buddy, if you still got fight in you, if you got fight, I got fight, right? As long as I can make you comfortable, I will fight with you till you can't do it anymore, right?" And so for pain management, we got onto full spectrum cannabis extract, and I've never been a believer in it. Once again, humbled. I've never been a believer in it. And as soon as he took it, the pain, you could see he was like, "I'm chilling, bro. Like I'm high and I'm chilling.
Stoned as
I'm
fuck.
stoned as fuck, and I'm good, bro." Right. And
he got
Yeah,
the munchies.
yeah. He started eating again, right? And so not only was homie like getting stoned every day, but he was getting like top food truck food from like all over Austin, right? He's like eating smash burgers. He's like, "This is fucking awesome." And we found out his favorite food was French fries, I'm sure, because living on the street, right? Like living on the street. And so we're struggling through it. We're making through it. I'm sleeping with him like on his primo pad for 3 weeks, like, because he's still getting up, man. He's still walking. I'm walking him on a support sling. Like we went for walks and I was back there with a support sling, like holding him. He was like pulling me like on the support, like a stupid little Belgian Malinois with drive would do, right? He just has this like will to live. It was just amazing. And then one day I walked by him and he's staring at the wall. And I was like, "All right, bud." So I called the mobile vet. I was like, "That's it. I'm going to have one more day, make sure he's all right." He hadn't started suffering, but you could tell that the body was starting to go like to shut down. So I scheduled him to be euthanized, like in my arms, in my bed with me. And vet came in and we did the deed. And he went from street rat to dying in a $10,000 Sleep Number bed. There was this moment, man. And like, I'm telling you, I'm very much a part of the neuroscience and like being like very realistic about dogs, but I've never felt a dog be, it's going to sound crazy coming from Jonas Black's mouth. Grateful. I swear on everything that there was gratitude. I swear that there was some kind of comparing and contrasting, maybe even to a minimal degree where he was able to or maybe it was just, I have it really good now and I'm really happy, and when the sedative hit, he looked up, like he didn't go to, he perked up like this because it relaxes and it's like morphine, right? Like it's like a strong opioid. He looked up and what it looked like was, I found my home. I found my dad. I'm just double checking that I did. And I can go now. And fuck. That's what it felt like. 3 breaths, gone after the euthanasia hit. Wolfie, 3 breaths, gone after the euthanasia hit. This is where it starts to get crazy. I forgot to get a tuft of Wolfie's hair. Anybody has ever had a husky or a wolf, that they have the little tufts. I forgot to get one of them. After the vet shaved a little bit off of Wyatt and put it in a vial, I shit you not, I swear on everything that and I have witnesses. There's an AC and a fan in my room, and the fan blew up one of Wolfie's tufts, and it fell. And we had searched the house for Wolfie hair, right? We had searched the house. Wolfie's hair fell right next to Wyatt's, and I was like, "What in the fuck just happened?" And their paths were so similar, right? Like they were on the same path. Chronologically, I did not expect it to happen this way. Wyatt was supposed to come, die, and then I was supposed to have my dog still. Now Wyatt comes, Wolfie dies, Wyatt dies. I have Birdie. It's just me and Birdie sitting here like with our thumbs up our ass, going, "What the fuck do we do now, man? like, what the fuck is this?" So Birdie is my heart dog. Wolfie was my soul dog, but Wyatt was my favorite dog. Like, and probably because we had so much bonding, because we knew that we had to live there's something that I said on my first episode here, because I watched it last night to do my homework on myself, right? and like, if there's one thing that I really liked, the only thing that I really liked what I said was, dogs will know when you're authentically in the moment with them and when you aren't, right? Like, so we're like, he was my favorite, and because we had to spend so much time authentically in the moment, living every day like that, it felt like I'd had him just as long as the other guys. Now, I sent in his embark, and I remember I said, Wolfie is my soul, Birdie's my heart, but Wyatt's my favorite, right? He comes back, Shepherd, Mal, Husky, Border Collie, my 4 favorite breeds.
Wow.
Is that not?
That's pretty cool.
Is that not unreal? So like, how blessed to be part of such a journey, right? Where the price to play is the greatest pain you'll ever feel. No question about it. I mean, I've lost people, and I'll be very real. Losing dogs has hurt me more than anything else, because these are the first dogs that I've had to send, were mine, sent over the Rainbow Bridge, you know. And dogs, from a neuroscience perspective, they help regulate your central nervous system, because there's such a beacon of operations every single day. I mean, you're talking oxytocin, you're talking serotonin. And now all of a sudden it's like, wow, you look at the crate is empty, but it's because your brain has such a hard time grasping memory with reality and reconciling those two things. And the space in between that is grief. So the space in between that becomes grief. And then, you know, Stephen Wilson Jr. has this incredible song where it's a grief is only love that's got no place to go. And what a beautiful pain it is to feel. And it's the type of pain that I pray never goes away, right? Because it shouldn't go away. I should learn to live with this pain. And when people say it gets better, when you truly have connected with the dog, it fucking doesn't. It doesn't get better, because you're always going to miss them. And like, the amount of, I think, you either get mad at God or you praise God, right? There's no middle ground. It's the same with our political shit these days. We either shoot people for disagreeing or we don't. There's no middle ground, right? There's no middle ground. To be thankful, to be able to experience this pain, is the way that you deal with this grief. Instead of trying to make it go away, because then I feel like I would be pushing my dogs out of their home. Those are my boys, and I'm loyal to them, right? And I don't want them waiting for me at the pearly gates. I want them to go be with Jesus, right? Like,
be at the dog park in heaven.
Yeah, like, go have a great time where dumbass owners aren't bringing their aggressive pit bulls from their shelter, right? Like go have a great time, go run free, go get your 4th leg, you know? Yeah, go have a great time. And then I did a lot of research on, you know, the Bible, if pets go to heaven. And then I realized something. It's like, I'm sure they do. There's a lot of verses in the Bible that state that most likely they do. But the most important thing, I think, as Christians is to remember is that we need to want God first, and that God then will deliver the things that we love. So you have to give it to God. And one of my good friends, who's a dog trainer in England, he goes, lad, how do you worship a God that brings suffering? And I said, because if we didn't suffer, we wouldn't know how valuable the kingdom of heaven is. Like, and that's one of those things, God doesn't bring suffering. God brings relief. And I think old me would have been turned angry. This me just drank a little bit and lost, yeah, and lost myself in prayer and doing my best to keep on the path that I've been set forth, because this is it's a strong path of contentment finally in my life.
As you guys have gotten older and more spiritual and your faith has grown, have you guys gotten more metaphysical, like belief in metaphysical? Like my mom grew up like feeling and sensing and spirits and this and that. Like, has that grown in you guys as you gotten older, or is it kind of like weird with you guys?
I don't even pay attention to it. Like I really just focus on my personal relationship with God, and whatever happens, if a demon pops out of the wall, so be it. It's fine. Like he takes fear away, and that's like, and I always thought I was fearless before, but I was a very scared little man. And now I'm fearless, like, because I have the help to be, and at the same time, there's nothing to be afraid of. And like, whereas before it was like, oh, I'm a big tough guy biker fucking dog trainer, and now it's like, bro, I'm still a biker dog trainer. I'm just not a tough guy. Everyone's a tough guy till you meet a tough guy and he punches you in the mouth. That's the truth. Sorry, it sucks.
So, and then my own personal dogs just very recently, but, the reason I brought up like the whole like feeling, like the energetics of stuff is, I all the dogs that I euthanized, I've felt them go. I've felt like you feel them leave the body, right? And my last dog, Big Mama, she's my Tibetan Mastiff who passed away recently. She didn't go. Like, she didn't leave. It was fucking weird. It was the first time I had ever felt like she stayed. She's here. And that's kind of cool because she was the protector of my property, She she did a great job. You still feel her presence everywhere. And I'm a big believer that, like, whether something is true or not, as long as it works for you. That's cool. Believe in it, right?
Bro, like, whatever gets you through this life, man. Like,
yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Like whatever gets you through this life, and clearly you weren't ready for her to go, judging from the tears in your eyes.
No. I mean, I think I'm more touched at the loyalty. I think I'm more touched, like her, like in retrospect, her back legs didn't work. She didn't walk for 8 months. We kept her in hospice for 8 months. Then she grew tumors. Then we did x-rays and tumors everywhere inside of her body. Yeah, we did everything to the very last moment, right? And I knew she needed to go. And I thought she would go. I'm actually touched by this perspective of feeling like she's like, not right now. Yeah. My body goes, but I'm going to be here.
You know what's really interesting about that? It's, you guys, I'm a fucking dork when it comes to like philosophy and things like that, right? So like, the first thing that God said was, let there be light, right? I was, let there be light. So light is the only thing that moves outside of time. So light in itself doesn't operate within time, because if you travel at light speed for a couple minutes, all of a sudden you're talking about like 70,000 years or something has passed on Earth. You're like, oh shit, like I fucked up on a light speed, right? But it works outside of time. So, and because God is the light, I truly believe that for them, they're just gone, and then they'll look over their shoulder and we're there. But that doesn't mean that there's not another realm where she's there with you. So because that kingdom, that realm operates outside of manly time. Like it's just that essence is still there with you, and then boom, she's so she can be in two places at the same time. Like that's what I believe. Like from a philosophical standpoint, it's as soon as yeah, why would yeah, like why wouldn't there be one? Shit, we don't know the complexities of God all the way through and through. I just know that Jesus Christ is the key to heaven.
Yeah. Like that's step one. Like you gotta learn that.
Yeah.
We'll figure the rest out later. Yeah.
But if you look at the concept of light and how even in physics and in science that we've discovered, it doesn't operate within time. Like everybody, like I don't want my dogs to wait. I just want them to look over their shoulder. Like this is just maybe my personal preference, right? So like I feel better about my dogs dying, which is like that they just look over their shoulder, and then I'm just like, oh, sorry guys, it took me a hot second to get here, right? Like, but I'm here. And then we walk towards whatever it is together, and it's that pain, it is fucking unfucking real, and I'm glad that your girl is there for you still. Like that makes me super happy. I don't invalidate anybody, man. I think that, well, not anymore. I used to, but
fucking idiot,
fucking idiot. Brent grieving in a way that he needs to. Stupid.
Brent believes that his dog, his ghost Casper the friendly dog, is still at his house. No,
once you feel that intense pain, right? Like once you feel it, there's really no way to cope with it. You just have to accept it, and it's especially hard when you know that the dog would prefer to stay. Like Wolfie was done. You could tell he was like, I don't like the way this feels, man. But Wyatt's head, it's that Mal Shepherd, like border collie, like exactly. Just dude, I would like they're fighters, man. And I actually had somebody ask me, well, which way do you prefer? And I was like, neither. It's like both fucking suck. On one end, Wolfie didn't suffer a lot, right? And on the other end, I had to watch my best friend decay. And I think, like, for me, I think I timed it perfectly. There were people who were like, it's time to put the dog down. But I think sometimes this is, I think, an interesting conversation. I think sometimes people are very quick to absolve themselves of the hospice. And and this isn't me judging. This is just an observation that I've had, like where it's like, oh, dog's starting to decline, put the dog down right away. I don't necessarily, for me, that would never be an option until I knew for sure that dog was ready to go. And like that, I think it's almost our due diligence for me anyway. I think for me, it's my due diligence to walk them as far as I can walk them. And then it's time. But everybody always says better a day early or a week early than a day too late. I think if you know your dog, you'll know the perfect time, and you also know the perfect time for you, because there's also a human element involved in this. I mean, fuck, dude. It's I don't know if I've ever felt, and Brent, I think you'll be able to relate. Mariano, I don't know if have you ever done like hospice care for a dog, Mariano?
Yeah, my dog Simba. I was like sitting here vibing with your guys' stories because it's incredibly similar.
It's there. It sounds so, I think, almost like bizarre what I'm about to say. Those moments when you know that your dog is gonna check out soon, but when you have small wins, like when they have their good days. And whether that's like we're eating a little bit more, or like we're able to sit up today, right? Like they ate all of their food and I don't have to worry about them not eating today, right? Like you look at it and those little tiny moments, and caring for a dying being is not tragic. It's beautiful, because you find that joy in that fucking simplicity of just, this is what we have, right? Like this, it's like people in India, they're the happiest people in the world, but they're poor as fuck, right? Like they're lower class, but they're super happy. And here all of a sudden we are in a transactional economy with this dog of low currency, right? Like, but all of a sudden that little bit of like, all of a sudden the things that we've taken for granted every single day, like our dog eating, becomes like the greatest thing in the fucking world, right? And it's just such a special time because it brings you to your knees. It brings you to a state of humility. It brings you into a state of modesty to go, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed to be in this moment. And I'm so blessed to experience this because now I can experience these moments with my other dogs who are alive, because you know that once you send a dog away, the little bit of regret kicks in. Like especially Wolfie being one of my first personal dogs, of course regret kicks in. All the traveling I did for years, all these things, all the time. Like he had a great life. His babysitter was his dog sitter was amazing. All those things, but you start to go, fuck, man. I should have thrown the ball one more time. I should have pet the dog longer, just a couple minutes longer. And that's like, for all the listeners who are listening to this, do that with your dogs now. Just one more time. Unless your dog's going to die of heat exhaustion. Just one more time, right? Like another minute of affection, another kiss on the forehead, every time, one more time.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely had my story with Simba. I've probably told it on the podcast before, but just to echo that point, that final point, Jonas, of the one more time thing, there was a minute, I just feel that this might be valuable, so I'm going to share it. It's not dog related. There was a minute early on in McKenna's pregnancy, Brent knows all about this, where we didn't know if the baby was going to make it. It was very touch and go for a while. Me and McKenna were very scared. And it got scary enough to the point to where we scheduled one of those like emergency appointments, like get us in just whenever you can. I don't care that you're closed, right? Whatever the cost. And they're able to get us in one morning. McKenna's like texting me, hey, the appointment's at 10. And I'm like, I already know. I'm already looking on their thing and finding out. We get there, and I was telling you, Jonas, I'm a big nerd for words, right? And word choice. And the very, very sweet lady who brought us to the back to do the ultrasound, you could tell in her word choice and in her demeanor, she was trying to be hopeful and uplifting, but not too much. And she was also trying to prepare us like, hey, but just in case, just know, And so I'm like, this is real, right? And I'm embarrassed to say this because this shouldn't have been the case, but it took that. I've never prayed so much in my life that morning. And I've never praised God so much since, right? Because she's preparing us. Me and McKenna are like, whoa. And I kind of vibe with what you were saying earlier. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm not capable of self-love, but I would say I'm never sad for what happens to me. I don't care.
Yes.
But I'm sitting there like, what am I going to do to console my wife? Like, this is... So I'm freaking out, right? She's crying. I'm trying not to. The lady's like prepping us, starts the ultrasound thing. The minute you hear boom, 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 dude, I was like, God is good. And since then, I've been so much better about praying, so much better about being grateful. And I'd like to think maybe that was the point, because God, we don't always understand his logic. But I felt that was important to say because it brought up kind of that point that you were making at the end of like, man, there's nothing else you think of besides like, how do I console my wife other than, what could I have done better? Like, are there things that I should be guilty for? Like, is this punishment? Like, you freak out, right? So it makes you think of that. But I think it also, something else you had said is like,
well, let me
a
just
lot of
say
people,
praise be to God for your beautiful child being okay.
Thank you. But something else that you were saying earlier was, friends do get confused. Like, why does God allow these things to take place, right? Like, isn't God good? Doesn't God love us? Isn't this and that? And not only do these moments, I think you're right, they ground us and they humble us and they bring us back to the truth, right? Like, and the truth is we are simple, humble, vulnerable beings, right? And that is the truth. And every moment is a gift. And a dog going through something, it reminds you of that truth. Otherwise, it's so easy to forget and you get, you get just derailed by little things like, my phone's battery's dying faster than it used to, right? But the answer that came to my mind was just our job as followers of Christ, as best that we can, because we are imperfect and will always be, is to try our best to share the glory of Christ. And in order to be able to connect with people who have scars, we need to have scars. And I think that's, so it just came into my mind, like, I think that's why God lets us suffer from time to time, because we need to recognize suffering so that we can be among the suffering, right? But life is always going to be painful. It's the hope of what comes after.
Into your consciousness, dig into being conscious. Don't just fucking, let your dorsal stratum like dictate all your behavior, like be conscious, be intentional, be focused, be here and enjoy it, because everything is in such wonderful harmony, even in times like this. It's like you really look at it and go, you said the logic of God, but I think from a human perspective we go, is God bound by logic? Like it's like what we perceive to be logic, is that something that's even applicable to God? And or is God's logic just so much more superior than ours, or did he just curse us with these terrible hypothetical thought processes, which can just continue and perpetuate trauma in our little human heads, right?
Dude, and I feel like in some ways I'm like, I feel like I have a touch of that autism or something too, because I take things very literal too. But well, that's good to know. But God never God never claimed to be logic. God claimed to be truth, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, there's light and there's darkness. Is that a logical confliction? But is it both true, right? So like even when you were saying earlier about like God started with light, Jesus says, "I am the truth, the way, and the light." Nothing about time, nothing about logic, right? There's truth and there's light, right? But no, yeah, that's a cool point. Yeah.
What a crazy fucking world, huh?
Right?
The Dog Trainers podcast, right? Is like fucking
Dog trainers, everyone go to church.
fuck just happened, man. Like
What just happened? Some people are like, yuck, ew.
Like some
God.
people just listened to this and went, well, I'm fucked for the rest of the day.
well, okay. Well, let me try to get us on the rails a little bit. So, for everybody listening, let me just say, and I know we said it in the beginning, but we appreciate you guys and we thank you guys. And listen, if anybody out there, is a believer, isn't a believer, whatever, don't let this become like, why are they putting this on Front Street right now? Just if it's easier, just understand what we're meaning to say here, what the message we're trying to bring to each other and to you today, is in these difficult circumstances, no matter how you like think about it, we all are human, we all make mistakes, but we all try to learn from our lessons, and we all try to take those learnings and turn them into a brighter future. And that means not only with our future dogs, perhaps our future friends, family, spouses, employees, but also for the little sliver of the, of the dog training space that we all have at large. And I think that's why, I mean, I won't speak for you, but I think that's why Jonas was able to make as big an impact and was as methodical about adjusting the online impact and then finally creating a Canine Conference. It's all about taking these things and just realizing how fast life really is and how easy it is to just let things fall apart and fade away. That there wanted to be something impactful and real and yet accessible and easy, and that's kind of what I think of a virtual conference.
Also, really proud, to be able to pay the people, like the big platforms presenting, right? Like, the Larry Crones and everything like that. And then, the people who don't quite have that bigger platform, their payment is the exposure on this. I mean, it's huge. So like, it's really, really like I'm not just calling in favors from friends. Like it, and that's what I think the dog training world has kind of become in if it comes to these like things. Like, it's yeah. Like, oh, I like I can have my buddy come in and talk, and it's like, no, but if I went to one of y'all's seminars with like Tyler or with Michael, dude, I'd fucking pay. I wouldn't want to put on the fucking list. I would support my friends like all the way through and through. And I think that the dog training world has become too like buddy buddy, too clicky clicky, too campy campy. And we can all exist under the same umbrella as long as we're doing some good fucking work, man. I think we can all realize and look, and we all see shitty work, and we go, okay, yeah, this work sucks. But I think instead of focusing on that, I think that if we focus on fixing the infighting, I think at that point we would get much, much further. And that's one of the goals of this whole conference. It's like, dude, like, like, like it's not a matter of putting trends to an end or anything like that. It's a matter of getting everything presented. And I'm a big believer in like, um, don't follow too much information at the same time, right? Like really like dig into like one person who has proven results as like philosophy and like go learn from them. And then next year do the next one, next year do the next.
Digest it.
Exactly. Because I
Yeah.
think we're all so over informed that, and like one of the toughest things I think that I teach my mentees is that most of dog trainers who think they have imposter syndrome don't. You just know that you're a fraud. And like, yeah, you like, you just know consciously that you suck and that you haven't done your due diligence. You've learned off of YouTube videos and you haven't done like the due diligence that it takes to be proficient at this craft. Imposter syndrome is a very serious thing. And we tend to throw these like these like, yeah, like like you throw these fucking pop psychology terms like around it. I think I was a victim of the Dunning-Kruger effect myself at one point, where it was like, you can't fucking tell me shit. Look at me, I fucking get everything done. And you fail on a dog all of a sudden, then you know nothing, and then you build yourself back up, and then you start to work towards proficiency. I used to, 10 years ago, I sat in front of clients' homes, I'm knowing exactly what I was going to do. Now I sit in front of clients' homes, I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck. Yeah, like, and that's why whenever clients ask me, well, what's the curriculum, the itinerary, it's like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, like we're going to have to pivot with not only the way that the dog does, but also the way that you do, right? So really focusing on the human end of the leash. I mean, I know it's cliche in the industry, but if you understand co-regulation from a neurochemical standpoint and chemo marker standpoint, chemo signal standpoint, it's absolutely amazing the way that dogs respond to the way that we smell based on like the way that we're feeling, because the neurochemicals inside of our brain, there's a cocktail. Yeah, no, it's fucking unreal. If your clients can't get easy wins with their dogs and you're flooding them immediately, like you have to be able to get your clients some wins with the dogs.
Yeah. And this thought popped into my head because we just did an episode on art traps. And the art trap, just when you take, just for those people listening, the episode hasn't came out yet, but when there's an element of the work that, so like we know in dog training, food is a thing, energy is a thing, punishment is a thing, play is a thing. An art trap is when you make it your whole fucking personality. That's an art trap. And the issue is I think people are learning art traps before learning a system. I think they are learning like people. Yeah. And I think people need to either study under someone or learn a complete, like just a basic, like what are we solving for? Obedience. Let's just start with obedience, or let's just start with leash training. But you need to learn a system from beginning to end so you can feel A, B, C, D, E. You can see an order to something. And then later, let's add the art, let's focus on the individual elements of dog training and strengthen those individually. Because I think there's a lot of people who they make play their whole personality, or they make food their whole personality, and they try to solve all of their problems with play, all of their problems with food, all of their problems with punishment. And at some point, if you don't know how, maybe about, I don't know if the word balance is right, but you need to learn how to help someone.
You're
all the way through.
You're hitting a home run here with what you said, and like a true home run, which is that, yeah, dude, I use play. Of course I use play. Yeah, I use food. Why wouldn't I use food? And yes, there's a sense of like, I use deprivation sometimes. Like I use all kinds of things, like everything. It needs to be in the toolbox because every context is going to require something different, right? And if there's something I think that's ignored by these camps, by these traps, like you said, it's the contextual shift effect. Like behavior is tied to the context, and which is why so many times, how many dogs you guys get in your board and trains? They're just like, I'm not aggressive anymore, bro. I'm out of this fucking environment, right? Look at Wyatt. He was one of the easiest, the most actually, this is an interesting caveat here real quick. Wyatt was the most adaptable dog I've ever met in my entire life because he was prefrontal cortex, and his brain was always stressed with all the stimulus in fucking Los Angeles, living homelessly in Los Angeles. He didn't even need decompression here. He just came in here, he was like, "Ooh, I'm fine." Yeah. He was like, "This is awesome, dude. I'm totally able to emotionally regulate here. Put on some dashboard confessional, we'll chill, bro."
Some dashboard. He's feeling vindicated over here.
Yeah, but I would like to go over the lineup for the Canine Conference if that's
yeah, let's fucking do it, man.
Pretty fucking unreal. Let me pull up the lineup here. But just the first weekend alone is worth the price of admission. I mean, no joke.
Caipirinha. Caipirinhas are they're just Brazilian Moscow mules for the most. Yeah, they're just Brazilian. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling super. So we'll start with weekend 3. No, this right here. So here's the whole roster of dog trainers so far. We have Mariano Alvarez, we have Brent Labrada, right? 2 fucking incredible people. We have Robert Cabral, we have Larry Crone, Tyler Muto, Jay Jack, James Penrith, Danny Wells, Sherry Wolf Lucas, me, Nino, Joe Rosie Haffenden from JRH. She's an incredible force-free trainer. Canine Optimus coming on. Say It Once dog training. Jackie Sakar, dog sense training and behavior. Joel Silverman, Oscar Mora.
Oscar man.
Mora, Shane Murray, Mahogany Gamble, Justin Rigney, Bow Wow Bill, Partners Dog Training School, Coach Carlos, Kylie Beamer, Piper Stoltz, B. Moore, Ashley Walker Jackson, Jason Alexander Lewis, Dan Croft from fucking Canada, Daniel Alar. He's always supporting everyone. No one's ever really given him a platform. I'm giving him a platform because he's always supporting everything, man. And then Jamie Fincher again with Magnum Opus Canine, and we're charging $324.99 for all access to all these speakers. Like, dude, it's unreal, man. I wish when I was coming up that I would have had access to this to be able to buy into, and it's a 3-weekend event. Like it's just on Saturday, Sundays, like and then we've still got the Wildlife Twins. We've got Wolf Education like coming into it. Like we have so many incredible presenters. I mean, just Larry and Robert alone are worth the price of admission. That's it. You take any of those big platforms solo, it's worth the price of admission. Like and to be able to get, it just shows you how cool all the big platforms are. I mean, that's why I'm rocking a Robert Cabral shirt, right? Like it's like you really fuck Jonas Black rocking another trainer fucking 4 years ago never happened, right? Like now I'm allowing myself to be fans of people, right? Like I'm allowing myself to be fans of people, and it feels so good. It feels so good to be a student of the game again, as opposed to thinking I am the game. I'm all about the game, like Triple H, right? Like,
I was just thinking, yeah.
Like it feels so good to allow myself to be a student again and to humble myself, because it also takes a lot of pressure away. And I'm like, I put this event together selfishly because I'm like, I get free access. Like I just have to sit back with Mariano and be and stage manage and fucking like listen to all these incredible presenters while I'm sipping on a cocktail. Right. Like it's such an incredible experience. And last year we had a really cool vibe going on too. We had a super, super cool vibe going on, and it's special. And if there's anybody in the chat that starts to suck, dude, I'll fucking send them a refund and kick them out. Like, I don't care. Like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, and for everybody listening, there's those speakers plus many more, but the Canine Conference, just so that we're clear, isn't just speakers speaking. Last year we did Q&A. There was all kinds of different things that make this truly something unique. And it was a lot of fun because it's a busy day each day, but it's smartly put together, right? There's breaks in between for people to go and potty their dogs and kind of get up out of their seats and what have you. But it gives each speaker opportunity to discuss their topic and then ask questions, right? Jonas has it. Are you doing this year via Cvent again? Cool. And the way that it was done last year for everyone listening, if you didn't attend last year, Cvent is an online platform that hosts these major online things, right? So it's going to run smoothly even with everybody attending, okay? So don't be nervous about that. I know sometimes that's an issue with different things. But it's even cooler in a sense because lots of online platforms allow for people to ask questions and then the chat is just insane, right? But this one has a really thoughtful way of putting that kind of thing together. We can run polls, we can run questions. And if somebody asks a question that lots of people want answered, you can just kind of upvote their question. It's a really smooth, streamlined way to get like everybody the information that they're all looking for. And it was a blast at the exact same time.
And a replay is available. So it's, like, let's say you're like, oh, sure, I can't make 3 weekends. That's a very reasonable thing. Like, all right, like I can't do 3 weekends. Well, the replays will once the conference concludes, the replays will be available for months and months and months afterwards. And no, we don't sell them. Like we don't sell a conference replay. That's kind of like the reason for that is because I want people like you're either going to get your ticket now or you're missing out this year. I want people to make an effort to be there and to experience the camaraderie and the community that was there. It's really important that you don't just go, well, you know what, I'll buy it later, or like that's why there's only 100%, like, or then you don't participate in the community, or you don't get to see the chat explode, or like see. I mean, we had so many brain melt moments last year from trainers and like in the chat where they had like, oh, that makes so much sense. And it's like, yes, that's what we're looking for people, is to give them that, because we've all had that, but it's always been an expensive price point. And that is, for me, that's always been like I it's such a hindrance, because like I speak with a lot of young trainers and they're like, man, if I'm doing a case review with somebody, like we're talking, $175 for an hour, like on a Zoom or something, like that's half the ticket. That's over half this ticket. Buy your fucking tickets. Like, buy the tickets. There's only 300 available because the server only holds 300 people. And next year, it depends on how we sell. And also, I honor the price at which you entered the conference. So last year's attendees are at $289.99 for the rest of their lives. This year's will be at $324.99 for the rest of their lives. Like, lock it in now. Lock it in now, because this thing's like probably next year will grow to 4 weekends. Like it's only going to grow. Imagine if we had a resource where we're talking every single weekend there was something going on for like 6 months, right? Like that's the ultimate goal, is that this continued education for dog trainers becomes an affordable price of entry versus having to pay $1,000 for a fucking working spot somewhere where you may get overlooked or like not worked enough. That this way you can have the access. And I really didn't make a lot of money on it last year. I'm not going to make a lot of money on it this year, but that's okay. But that is okay, because it's at this point it's a matter of what will you be remembered for, right? Am I going to be remembered as punk ass dog trainer, the motherfucker who was an asshole, or am I going to be remembered as the guy who really tried to pave the way and change the industry standard on the way that we're doing continued education? And I think that the latter is way cooler than before. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on, guys. I have to go spend time with my best friend who's here for my birthday. We're gonna go get tacos. And I love it. Dude, I just smile because we go get tacos. Like the simple things, the simple things. It's fucking awesome. But I love you guys. Thank you for having me again.
And well, we'll see you in October. And this was a really, really fun catching up. We got really deep, cut our hearts open a little bit.
I think that might be my first time ever crying on the podcast.
Yeah. It was the first time for everything. Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you having you on. To all the listeners, again, check out the Canine Conference. the first 3 weekends of October, 4th and 5th, 11th and 12th, 18th and 19th. Again, we want to thank our guest, Jonas Black, for joining us back on this podcast. And my name is Brent Labrada, and that guy's Mariano Alvarez. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace. Episode.
Thank you for listening to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers, for dog trainers, or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend.
We really hope that you enjoyed this episode and can't wait to be back with you guys. Be sure to follow us at Dog Trainers Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And don't forget to punch the hell out of that subscribe button and leave us a review.
Remember, guys, this is your podcast. You're the best listeners in the world, and we'll see you next time.